Hi there, welcome to Snacks and Stacks. I like to talk about books, TV shows, and movies. And today we are going to talk about my 26 of 2026. It goes all the way to the bottom. What I've done for my 26 for 2026 is I've looked at the books that I want to prioritize by certain categories. One is going to be the arcs that I have been approved for. I obviously want to read all the NetGalley arcs I've been approved for, as well as a couple arcs that I got from YALLFest. And then I have my pre-orders. So I started pre-ordering books last year in 2025, and as they came in, I was supposed to be reading them, but I didn't always do that. And so since I felt the need to pre-order them, I want to put them as a priority for this year. And then there are about 18 books here that are just part of my physical TBR. And you see that cubby, it's empty because I'm going to put all 26 of these books, or all the physical ones, in there as a reminder that I need to pick those up throughout the year, but they are a priority. Now, I normally read over 100 books a year, so 26 books should be quite easy. I'm thinking I could probably knock these out in the first half of the year. I'll be reading them throughout the year though, I think, because I am such a big mood reader that TBRs feel confining to me. So let's go through my first category, which are the arcs. So from NetGalley, I have an e-arc of Agnes Albert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. This is the author that did the Emily Wilde series, and I requested this arc because I love cozy fantasy, especially in the winter time, and this is going to be published February 17th, so I have about a month to read this, and I really think it might be the first book that I start in 2026. The next one in publication order is actually down here. Is A Prodigal Tiger by Samantha Chong. This was a book that I got at YALLFest, and this is a YA fantasy book that deals with the Malaysian folklore. The next one is another NetGalley ebook, and that will be Cherry Baby by Rainbow Rowell. Fangirl, you can kind of see her right there, is one of my favorite books of all time, which is by Rainbow Rowell, and yeah, I'm excited to read Cherry Baby. That is an adult romance book. Next will be in April of 2026, and I actually also have this book on pre-order, so I was really stoked to get an arc of it so I could read it early. It's The Escape Game by Marissa Meyer and Tamara Moss, and Marissa Meyer is my favorite author because she wrote the Lunar Chronicles, my favorite YA series, at least, of all time. And yeah, super excited to get into this. This is kind of like a thriller escape room competition book. That's all I know about it. I wanted to head into this with the least amount of information possible. The hardcover that's releasing is so cute because it has these sprayed edges of like keys, and yeah, it just looks really cool. The next and last arc, I don't request for a ton of arcs because I feel a lot of pressure to finish them by a certain time. And so even though I am in the NetGalley world and game, I try to minimize the amount that I get. And because I have these physical ones, I definitely also want to read them. So this is the next one. It is published in June, and this is called The League of Dangerous Young Ladies by J.A. Morgenstein, I'm not sure. This says Enola Holmes meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer in this YA fantasy adventure. So very much stoked for this. I have a not very secret love for cozy mysteries that take place in Old English times. I think this will be a good one, especially if it has to do with Holmes, like Sherlock Holmes. I've never read them, but I liked a lot of the adaptations. Next type of books will be the pre-orders from 2025. First one, Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon. The shortest Samantha Shannon book ever. This should be a breeze. I love Are they here? I love A Day of Fallen Night and Priory of the Orange Tree. A Day of Fallen Night is probably top 3 favorite books of 2025. So I definitely want to get to this as soon as possible and continue being in this world. A little bonus for me, if I finish all these 25, I definitely want to start the Bone season. It's kind of back there. That is an ongoing series by Samantha Shannon. I think that I will like it a lot, but I'm scared because I think it's 5 books in and each book is a chunker. So yeah, but I do have the first book and it's not a priority, but if I can get to it, that would be cool. My goal is to read at least one Samantha Shannon a year because I do really like her as an author, but her books are dense and that's what I like about them, but also I don't think I could read them back to back to back. The next one that I pre-ordered, this will also be a breeze, is Under the Oak Tree. This is book 2. This is a romantasy light novel that has turned into novels, and these are translated from Korea. The setting is very medieval-like. There is magic and monsters, and I very, very much enjoy this. There are trigger warnings in the first book. We have a main character who comes up from pretty much, so Maxie, our main character, grew up with a lot of trauma and assault and abuse. So she's like a very meek character, and I think people have a hard time rooting for her or understanding why she is the way she is. But I feel like she is just like getting stronger every day, and I feel like her efforts are shown in the web novel. The main male character is different than our normal Western romantasy authors. He is not different because he's quiet, but he definitely has his own things going on. He's got your typical, like, I'm strong and I'm quiet thing going on, but he also has his own backstory, which I think if I hadn't read a lot of these online, I probably wouldn't have liked Riften as much, but he definitely has a reason for the way that he treats Maxie. And in the first book, there is marital... it's hard to back up. It's a hard red flag to wave around and be like, it's okay. But nevertheless, I really love this story. So this will be an easy read for me. I'll probably finish that within the first quarter. Next, another pre-order. I am so sad. I'm glad because I have a signed copy and I got a bunch of goodies with this pre-order, but now these books are 50% off. This is, and I haven't read it yet. That's what I'm mad about. So definitely want to read Forgery of Fate by Elizabeth Lim. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, I believe, with dragons. Yeah, and it does with like painting and stuff. The premise is so cool. I just haven't gotten to it yet, and I swear I'm going to get to it. Why are there sticky things on my books? There's something weird on the cover, but it's coming right off, so that's good. Next is a pre-order that I haven't received yet, and that would be BK Borison's And Now Back to You. It is part of the same series that First Time Caller is part of, and I pre-ordered this way back in the day because BK Borison is one of my favorite romance authors, and so it is coming. I think it's about weathermen and a weatherwoman. I think. I didn't even look into it. I just said BK Borison pre-order. So the next 18 books are part of my physical TBR. If you're new around here, first of all, welcome. Thank you for so much. You've stuck through like half the video. Thank you. The other thing is I do a series on my channel or a challenge called the Completed Series Challenge. I have a lot of books that I haven't finished, and I've noticed that I will start collecting full series when they go on sale, and then they just sit there. So I have several completed series that I want to finish next year. Where's the first book? This is not a cool reveal if it's messed up. First things first, I read Howl's Moving Castle in 2025. So of course, we're going to finish. Which one's the next one? House of Many Ways and Castle in the Air in 2026. These are Fairy Loot editions. If I have special editions of something, I really should have read them, you know? So these are part of my priority 26. Next, I have a trilogy that I tried to start last year and it didn't happen because I just wasn't in the mood for it. But I have a whole series, and that is the Chaos Walking series, starting with Knife of Never Letting Go, The Ask and the Answer, and Monsters of Men. This is a YA. All of these series that I have on my completed series challenge are actually YA. I didn't mean to do that, but I do have them. They're usually cheaper at the used bookstores, so that's probably what happened. But yeah, this is definitely a book I want to physically read because you can see, go near the front. You can hear people's thoughts, everyone can, and that's part of the design of the book. The premise of this series is that all these men live in this town, and once they are of a certain age, I think it's just forever. They basically can hear the thoughts of other men always. And so one day he sees somebody and it's quiet. So I think that was like the first chapter. I read the first chapter. I really thought it was interesting. I just hadn't gotten to it. So that is a series I'm hoping to finish this year. This is probably one of the first series I'm going to read because I want to read it in the winter, and it's We Hunt the Flame. This is a duology. We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars. This is a fantasy set in ancient Arabia, and I remember reading the first chapter and it being in the desert, but the desert was full of snow. Hopefully I remembered that correctly because I definitely want to read this like probably as soon as possible. So yeah, so yes. Can you stand? Cool. And I found the second book to this used, and so then I decided, yes, this is the year I read it. Fix a Prose duology. If you don't know what this is about, where have you been? This is about a band of 6 young adults, apparently, but everyone says to read them like they're older people. And they're like a band of thieves. That's all I really know. That's all I really want to know. Okay, so those are all the completed series that I want to read through. And so then I went ahead and picked up a couple that are of different genres. A lot of this is fantasy, because that is what I mostly read. One is The Scammer by Tiffany Jackson. I heard her speak at YALLFest and I thought she was hilarious. And this is a thriller, but I think it'll still be good. Like, I liked her, the way she like presented herself and the way she talked about stuff. So I really wanted to try one of her books. And this was the newest one that was there. And it sounded interesting. So it's about a couple of kids. They go to college, and I think someone enters their dorm room that's kind of a stranger. Her roommate's brother is released from prison, and Jordan finds the ex-convict on their dorm room sofa. This is a romance that I bought last year that I'm really excited for because I really liked Out on a Limb. This is her book called Out of the Woods. It's about a married couple who are high school sweethearts, and they go on a week-long wilderness expedition to help them rekindle their marriage. Really love the idea of a romance between a married couple. Then we have the latest book, I think the latest book I have of the Murderbot Diaries. This is System Collapse. I have the first 4, I have a gap, and then I have the latest. So I also need to collect the other books. I typically listen to them on audiobook, but the library no longer carries them digitally. I don't know if that's true or not. anyways, I want to read the latest in the Murderbot Diaries. I wanted to put a book on here that was just of short stories because I haven't read this and I've been wanting to. It is The Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu. This is a book of short stories. I always hear great things about how much people love this book, and I think it'll be a good introduction to his writing and to see if I want to read the Dandelion Dynasty books by him, which are very big, elaborate, epic fantasy books. My other sci-fi book is Project Hail Mary. Definitely want to read this before the movie comes out. This is about a lone astronaut, an impossible mission, an ally he never imagined. There's a lot of people that I've seen online talk about how this is a great book. My brother-in-law loves this book, and there's a girl in my book club that always raves about this book. So this is definitely on my 26 of 26. Then I have Red City by Marie Lu. This is a contemporary fantasy. I think it is about alchemy, which if you've been following me, you know I read the whole Full Metal Alchemist series and loved it. It's not my first time with that story, but a first time reading it. And so I am really excited to read alchemy based in this real world. This book has been sitting there chilling for a while, Lady Tan's Circle of Women. I think this was a book I wanted to read in 2025, but just didn't get to. And it's about a woman who basically was like a doctor of sorts back in the day. I'm very curious to see if I like this. And I also really love a historical fiction about women being kind of prominent back then and how they persevered through some of those struggles of gender back then in the day. And last but not least, The House of Fear by Marissa Myers. I picked this up while I was at YALLFest as well. A couple of these I picked up at YALLFest, so I definitely want to read them since I paid full price. And they're signed, so that's really cool. I think this is a standalone, which will be great. It's about the tale of Bluebeard and a con artist. So very excited for that as well. So yeah, this is my 26 for 26. A good mix between backlist books, newer books, and ARCs. I'm hoping to finish them all by the end of the year. Have you read any of these? Are any of these on your list for 2026? Let me know. And until then, happy reading, happy snacking, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.